Hello and welcome everybody to the IPL edition of the Umpires Call podcast. Today I'm joined with the regulars and we're going to be discussing the IPL auction, which players should be being bought by each team, and everything to do with the IPL auction. Side note, we're having a live stream on Thursday at the beginning of the auction, which is 9:38 a.m. British time. So check out our YouTube for that. A little bit more on that later, but to begin with, Ian.
Yeah, and introduce what we're going to do.
Okay. So if I just explain the format, we're going to go through all of the 8 IPL teams and explain where they need to strengthen their squads and what they can do to strengthen those with the budgets they have and the players available to them. As David said, I'm starting with the Mumbai Indians, who I think it's fair to say were the most stable team last year. Obviously, ended up winning, so they don't need to change that much. They've potentially got 9 to 10 of their 11 already sorted. They just need to look for a bowling all-rounder, number 8 or 9 potentially. So I think their best options there, considering they have a relatively small budget, it's around the middle, but they've got 15.35 crore. I think someone like Jai Richardson or Kyle Jamieson will be someone they will target as their third seamer and someone who bats a bit down the order as well. Potentially an outside shout if those two don't go to plan is Liam Plunkett, but I don't see that happening, to be honest. So we'll see about that. Potentially then a backup spin option because Rahul Chahar, obviously not the most experienced. They might want to add a bit of experience with someone like George Lind or Ish Sodhi.
Experience with
so that's
Lind is experienced. I mean, he's 28 now. I think played a lot of domestic. Well, Ian, you
control at least.
You spoke about Kyle Jamieson. Obviously, he's been the mega gun in Test matches, but is that going to translate into IPL form?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I guess again that is a bit of a gamble, to be honest. He has played T20s internationals for New Zealand now, in which he's performed decently well. He's looked quite good, and he's got a few good slower balls to accompany his other skills. So I think they may take a gamble on him, considering how solid and strong their other two seamers are, Bolt and Bumrah.
I suppose the only other question is I think he's played all of his cricket ever in New Zealand. I don't think he's ever been away from home. So that's also something to take into consideration. But I think it'd be one of those like underrated sort of, 1 for 28 kind of bowler. Yeah. Not like a 6 for 20, but solid. Solid bowler.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the Mumbai Indians for me. Yeah.
All right, who's next? David, is it?
Yeah. Sunrisers Hyderabad first up. And they've got probably the most settled squad out of everyone, maybe apart from Mumbai Indians, but they've probably got the most settled. I mean, they've got 22 out of their 25 slots filled. So only 3 slots to fill. They've got 7 of their 8 overseas. Interestingly, they've got the lowest purse size in the auction, so only 10.75 crore. And for those who don't know, a crore is the same as about £100,000, so that's about just over £1 million. Just from looking at the squad, I'd say quite hard, but they're probably missing a couple of things in their team. They're probably missing a properly good spinner, but because they have no overseas slots, really, it's going to have to be an Indian one, and that's not really the strongest in the auction list this year. So they're going to have to try and find an experienced head in either Harbhajan Singh or Piyush Chawla. It's obviously not ideal, but they're experienced campaigners who can do a job. They've shown in the past. And Chawla especially is relatively cheap, which fits Sunrisers' amount of money. Also, what's been their issue for every season they've played in is their middle order and the finisher type role. Again, we can't get an overseas, so it's going to have to be an Indian. Again, it's not the strongest. Shivam Dube, not exactly world renowned. And Karan Nair, if he didn't have that triple in tests, he'd basically be the same. They're probably looking to get one or both of those. Maybe not necessarily starting 11, but definitely as like a substitute who can come in later in the season and provide big hitting at the end. Or Karan Nair is more of a 4 or 5 who can provide stability in the middle overs. But yeah, at the moment they're looking quite settled.
Do you feel Jason Holder could play that finishing role
Yeah,
your team.
that's always been the debate. Like, do you play Bairstow or Holder, or Holder? Because for me, Warner, Williamson, and Rashid Khan are guaranteed 3 of the 4 overseas. And then it's whether you take out Bairstow and open with Saha and put Holder in. It worked for us at the back end last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if they start with it again. But Bairstow is, one of the top 3 T20 openers in the world. So it's kind of unfortunate for him if he's not going to play. But yeah, it's certainly a debate to be had within the team.
All right, so I'm going to talk about CSK. So CSK, in terms of money, we've got 19.9 crores, so a bit on the lower end, but we have got a bit of money to spend, so we could bring in some good players. In terms of slots, we've got 6 Indian slots and 1 overseas. So realistically, we're working with the overseas you already have. So in terms of the squad that we have right now, I see a kind of gap in the opening slot, opening/3, depending on if Gaikwad and Faf are chosen to open, or if one of them drops down to 3, so you have like a slot open there. So I see us picking up an overseas in that slot, which could be like a Finch, Hales, or a Roy for the opener spot, or Milan Rassi or Steve Smith for the number 3. But I do think all of those slots will be expensive plays, so I'm not sure how much we would bid for them. So I think Roy is probably the most achievable target there in terms of being the cheapest out of those lot. And then with that, we might need to pick up an Indian all-rounder just to bolster our batting and bowling slightly, I think. So we could be looking. There's not really much in the auction, but we could be looking at Krishna Gautam, especially since we'll be playing in Chennai, which is a spinning pitch. So
I just have to say, like, how disappointing this auction list is that you're talking about Krishnappa Gautam as like a top tier all rounder.
Our 3 spinners are Harbhajan, Piyush Chawla, and Krishnappa Gautam for the spinners.
It's
really.
actually
the Indian talent in this auction is pretty terrible.
All of them been just taken
it's
up.
Super low. Honestly, if Hardik Pandya was in this auction, he'd go for 20 crore. I'm certain. Like he would go for like so much.
I think Mumbai should just release Krunal. Someone else should pick him up.
Why would they do that?
Okay.
Because I think other people would want him. So
even up the teams.
Yeah.
They might get the Fair Play Award.
Yeah,
Fair Play Award.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Give up the Pandyas.
Sab, who do you think is going to be your wicket keeper this year?
Regrettably, I think Dhoni will have to take that position.
Oh, that lad. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously I was joking, but as in, how many years do you think he has left? Because
he's retiring after the season. I'm pretty sure there was some reports saying he might be retiring after the season. And
mate,
no, he's going until
he should have retired years ago, but he's
going until he's 90.
That's why I think I heard some people saying that we should maybe pick up Smith to carry on with the captaincy after Dhoni leaves next year. Potentially.
The only thing is, if Dhoni was to leave, you'd actually have a whole wicketkeeper. Like you literally would have a wicketkeeper.
Quite old as well. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you've just got an old team, isn't it? But you need to get youth in this auction. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about KKR. So yeah, basically they've got 10 crore left, which I mean is one of the smaller. I think it's the second lowest.
I think it's joint left. I think it's joint with Sunrisers, I believe.
Yeah,
joint last.
They've got 2 overseas spots still left to fill. But looking through their team, I think they've got 3 main issues. One, they have no real opener to use alongside Gill. So I'd expect them to find an explosive opener because Gill wasn't always the most explosive opener, didn't always show the most intent last year. So someone like Jason Roy, Glenn Phillips, like a cheaper person who they could use as an explosive opener. Narine is another issue because you all know that I was a big fan of him back in the day, but I mean he's not really what he used to be. Yes, they're probably looking to fill that all-rounder spot. Shakib would be perfect for them, but I think he'll be too expensive. So maybe someone like George Linder, as we mentioned earlier.
I was just going to say, like, as you're saying, they have a massive issue in terms of like players required and money they have. Like, there's no chance of them getting like someone like a Finch or a Hales because that would just be half their money gone instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, it's so important for them to just find like those 1 crore, 50 lakh kind of players who are just underrated.
Yeah, they've got to find good value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
I'd like to see them. as I said before, utilize Tim Seifert more. He didn't play at all last season, and he is a quality international opener. So if they do need to run things on a tight budget and make use of the players they have potentially, he could force his way into the starting team, and I think he would do well.
Yeah, it would make sense.
I think considering Brendan McCullum is the coach, I think he's in the starting 11. Like, obviously, I have no clue. But I mean, just from seeing like who they have in their squad at the moment, I think Tim Seifert and Shubman Gill are pretty much guaranteed at least to start the season as the openers.
As of now.
Yeah,
but they've got Cummins, their main seamer, obviously. They've also got Nagakotti and Shivam Mavi, who are both they showed growth last year, but they're both pretty young and inexperienced. So I'm thinking just pick up another Indian bowler, someone like Umesh Yadav. I mean, he's not exactly ideal, but he's experienced. I mean, he's pretty bad, to be honest, but like...
What does he bowl? What does Umesh bowl?
Rubbish. I mean, he didn't get an RCB's team as a bowler, so there's not much going for it. Also, Andre Russell's health is another big issue, but I'm not sure they can do much about that. I mean, maybe, just find another backup all-rounder, but they're a bit stuffed on that one.
There's no backup for Andre Russell.
There is no.
All right. So back to me. So I'm going to be talking about Kings 11 Punjab now. They may have changed their name. I don't care. That's what
Punjab Kings.
Punjab Kings, the Punjab Kings.
Okay, obviously the biggest talking point here is the size of the budget they have. There's 53.2 crore. It's by a distance the biggest budget, and they should essentially be able to buy anyone who they want. They've got 9 potential slots to fill with 5 overseas if they want that. I guess the main priority is a kind of number 5 role. We're reliant very heavily on our openers last year, and then when Gale came in, he started doing well at 3. But apart from that, no one really contributes with the bat significantly. So number 5, I think the best options would be Moeen Ali or Shakib Al Hassan, but particularly because they both bowl. And I think that's important because we've got 3 number 11s essentially at 9, 10 and 11. And playing that extra bowler at 5 allows us to play an extra batsman down the order to strengthen that lower order. And so, another place, as I said, where we need to fill is that kind of number 7, 8 role, a finisher. And I think the perfect guy for this is Chris Morris. He did well for RCB last year when he played. Good death bowler, which is something we potentially need with Chris Jordan not being the most consistent last season. I still think he's a very good bowler, but potentially he was quite inconsistent last season. So Chris Morris for me, and definitely runs down the order from him as well if the top order fails. He's an explosive batsman down the order. Those would be the priorities for us, I think.
So I've got Rajasthan Royals. Again, I think they've got the second most money to spend, 37.85 crore, and quite a few slots to fill, eight slots, 3 of which can be overseas. They've got a strong trio of English overseas in Stokes, Archer, and Butler, who are guaranteed to start every game pretty much. Like I don't see them not. So and if you add Jaiswal and Samson into that, they've got a strong top 4. Tuati at 7, Archer, Gopal. So they've got a strong sort of core, but then they're missing that sort of middle order finisher type role again.
The Indian middle order finisher.
They need him. But
Everyone needs him.
The thing they've got is they get Galtham out the country as well. Honestly, but they've got Miller in the ranks if they want to play him at 5. If not, they've got Manan Vora, who's actually proven back when he back in his Punjab Kings days that he can score runs. So he can start in at 5. They have the potential to buy someone like a Shakib Al Hassan to bring him in at 6, and also that he could become their main spinner, as they don't really have anyone, with great experience or great quality in the spin department. As good as Tuati was last year, he wasn't a world class leggy.
He wasn't.
Shakib could really bring that sort of depth and spin bowling to their team, as well as a quality batsman in the middle order. If they decide to go down the Vora Shakib role, then they are lacking in the fast bowling department. I mean, Jofra's there, but apart from that, Unadkat and Tyagi aren't exactly quality.
Well, they do have
they
Stokes,
have Stokes,
Yeah.
but he bats top 4,
but he bowls.
so he's not like but I know he bowls, but like he
doesn't really bowl anymore. I don't know why.
He's
He's
a,
like a
he's
mild-
a fifth bowler, or like he's a sixth bowler.
He's a
He's a
proper
sixth
six
bowler.
bowler in T20s.
in the team I've
yeah.
got him in. He's a 6th, potentially even 7th bowler. But then essentially they need to either get 2 Indian middle order batsmen, which is going to be basically impossible, and then they can sort of splurge on somebody like a Chris Morris as a extra fast bowler, like Kings 11 might. He obviously, as Ian said, he brings quality fast bowling, depth bowling, and some late order runs if needed. Apart from that, if they decide to go with both Indian middle order and an Indian seamer, then they can potentially get another overseas spinner in either Mujeeb or Adil Rashid. Either of those 2 are quality picks and can do them a lot of good. I say they have the money, they have the slots, but the issue they're facing is the fact that they've already got 3 of their 4 overseas filled.
Yeah,
So they're going to struggle to find players in all the positions they want, quality players in all the positions they want. So that's probably their main issue.
I read the other day that then England and New Zealand players would maybe be going home 2 weeks early. I'm not sure how true that article was, but it would kind of
If that was to
mess
happen,
up
they would be
precious
in a
times.
lot of trouble. Their 3 main players are all English. And mix that with an Adil Rashid if they were to buy him, that would not be great. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
back to Sav.
So to me, okay. The second team is DC. So in terms of money, they've only got 13.4 crores, which is on the lower end, and they need 8 Indian slots and 3 overseas. So they do need to pick up quite a few players, but they don't have very much money. But in terms of their actual starting 11, it's pretty much completely filled, maybe barring an opener. I mean, right now they have the options of playing Prithvi or maybe Rahane as an opener right now, or Stoinis if they do go that route, but then that leaves a gap
should
lower
go
down
with
the order.
Stoinis.
I think they should open with Stoinis.
Yeah,
But then it does
but
leave
if
the
they-
it leaves the
leaves
gap
a
at the
gap.
lower order.
You say that, but there's literally no doubt in my mind. He's I'd say he is the 2nd best opener in that franchise. Like,
Okay, so
no
let's
doubts,
say
no
he
doubts.
opens then you have like a gap at kind of number 6 then, where I could see
You're looking for
bringing in-
Shivam Dubey again.
Maybe they can pick up an overseas actually. I think they have 1 extra slot if they play Norkia, Rabada, Stoinis. They have 1 extra overseas slot, so they could pick up
Moeen.
a Moeen
But,
or Shakib maybe.
I think Moeen or
Yeah.
Shakib, but I think Sam Billings.
They may
might
be
a
too
good
expensive.
take.
Sam Billings is a shout. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are, because I reckon
Liam
he could go
Livingston
cheap.
as well, maybe.
for how
Liam
good he
Livingston.
is.
Glenn.
Get Glenn in. Get Glenn in.
But yeah,
Everyone loves Glenn.
I don't really want Hetmeyer playing, to be honest. I don't know. Like, yeah, I think he's a bit of a waste of an overseas, in my opinion.
What, did you not like his ass?
Why are you making me edit this out? Like, you're making it hard.
You don't even have to edit that out.
It's fine. Anyway, back on track.
Okay, so let's just say that we're playing Stoinis lower down, then that leaves a gap at an opener. Or let's say we fill that out with Prithvi or Rahane as a temporary fix.
Ooh,
And then
that's just
at,
not good.
At number 4, we need a number 3 or a 4. So I've gone with potentially picking up Rassi or Dawal Milan. Of course, with their restricted budget, I think Dawal Milan's a bit of a stretch. So I think they could pick up Rassi as a bit of a bargain buy. Yeah. And I also saw that Sean Marsh was in the auction. He's very old, but I don't know, that could be a bargain. Might not go for very much.
Yeah.
That's good T20 stats. So.
Just hear me out here. With this Stoinis debate of playing him either at like 6 or opener, someone who could complement that well, who could also play in the middle order or as an opener,
Moeen.
is Matthew Wade,
Yeah.
right? So if you pick him, he's quite a good player to complement Stoinis.
All right, yeah, you're done.
Be able
We're
to play
cutting you off.
around
We're cutting
where
you off.
Stoinis
You've
is.
been cut off. You've been cut off. All right.
Not
let's
Matthew Wade.
That's all right.
Let's move on to Dylan. Let's move on to
Shush
Dylan.
your mouth.
All right.
Yes, so, I'm talking about RCB. Yes, looking through the team, there's 3 obvious issues. One, our current team would be playing Pavan Deshpande at number 5, which is quite disgusting. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a bit of an issue there. No allowing. I think you'd probably move Sundar up to 5 and you'd try and find a true finisher.
You could put Sundar at 5.
Yeah,
True
exactly. That's
finisher.
probably
You
what
might
you
have to
would
get
do.
back the duvet.
Duvet.
Yeah. Anyway, I think Maxwell has been heavily linked to RCB, which kind of hurts, but we'll live with him.
I have to say,
could
everyone
solve
says
your
this about
problems.
Maxwell. Like he had a shot shocking IP. But realistically, if he comes good, he's a destroyer of worlds. Like he could.
Yeah, but when
could
has
be
he
the
come
solver of
good?
all your problems.
Like,
David,
when was the last
we
time he
both-
was
we
hitting?
both
2014,
remember-
Dylan.
We both
2014.
remember every game last year where David would tell me Maxwell's coming good next game, and he'd fail time and time again.
Yeah, I kept playing
you
him
know
on my
what,
fantasy
what's
team, and
really
like,
destroying
oh, man.
worlds? David Acosta.
Why did you laugh, Dylan?
Okay, move on from that. Anyway,
Right, move on.
yeah, the other issue was we're kind of lacking. We've always lacked a good death bowler because currently we've got.
You've lacked
We've
being
got-
good, really.
Well,
Let's
I mean,
be honest,
that is true.
two
Right,
bowlers.
just-
You have two bowlers. You have Chahal and Siraj.
Well-
You have two bowlers.
You imagine saying
No,
Siraj is a
Sundar,
good
like-
bowler. Imagine
No,
saying that this time
Siraj
last year.
and Sundar are very good opening bowlers. You've got Chahal in the middle overs. Saini, I mean, I guess you can do something. Not very well, but yeah. The death, we have nothing. So we need a death bowler.
Tim Savvy.
So, Sam, it's not even funny.
Tim
Like,
Southgate.
it's
No,
just
Sam,
saying...
what
like,
are you
could
saying?
pick him up. You could pick
No,
him
but
up.
Sam,
Stop just
realistically,
saying
that's
names,
crap.
man.
Yeah, so anyway, Mr. Fizzaraman, as you all know, I'm a big fan.
Come on.
He was amazing in 2016. I think he had an economy of 6.9, 17 wickets.
Oh.
Bob, the
Harris-
ball of the century. Yeah, then Rashid Khan kind of just took his place and he just fell off.
I just-
Yes,
I
I'd
just say, like-
really want him.
Speaking of Mr. Fizzer Rahman and the 2016 Sunrisers team, as RCB are obviously looking for that finisher type role.
King Cutting.
I have seen that Ben Cutting in the auction this year. Quite
He is,
cheap,
yeah.
may I add, and he had a good BBL. He's an outsider.
I mean, I wouldn't be
I'm not-
opposed to buying. I wouldn't be opposed to it. He's
an
not really
What
someone
about,
that's starting.
What about Mark Wood?
Yeah, Mark Wood's always a shout. But the thing is, we've got, like, at the moment, I'm looking at our team, we've got Chahal, Siraj, and Saini. None of them can bat. So it's like we've got three
Yeah.
number
Oh,
11s.
Siraj,
We need like
Siraj can whack a few.
he cannot play. Like, I've never seen him do anything for RCB ever.
He whacked
But-
Leach out the ground, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
it
that,
rhymes.
it was a clean hit.
Twice,
But like,
Leach isn't coming onto bowl in the IPL.
yeah.
If
So
he
we
is,
need-
it's like none for 90. But
Yeah, so we need someone like Jai Richardson. I mean, he's not actually the greatest batsman, but you know,
Good
he's not.
stats.
He knows what to do.
he's an 8. He's a solid
yeah,
8.
he's a true number 8 batsman and can provide something with the ball. So yeah, that would be probably my main target.
Should we move on to the bargain buys?
The bargain buys,
We'll
yes.
just go for it
Right,
quickly.
Yeah,
Alright,
I-
let's start.
yeah. I think it's Iron
Okay.
starting.
So I've gone with Dwayne Pretorius simply because bowling all rounders are in high demand. He's quite a good one that a team could pick up relatively cheaply, and we saw him perform really well in this latest series against Pakistan. So
Well, what did he get in
yeah.
that series?
what,
What's in it?
5 for 17 was it?
Oh yeah, that was it.
In one of the games. Yeah. Also runs down the order. So yeah, he was good. So bargain buy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. My bargain buy is Glenn Phillips. He's
Yeah.
New Zealander, really cheap, explosive batsman. He plays the T20 international stuff for New Zealand. I think he goes 32 at 140. So he's a solid player. He has their fastest ever T20 100. You can open with him. You can bam at 6. He can play that finisher role. He's a keeper. He's also a very good fielder. He's very versatile. And for how cheap he is, I think he'd be an absolute steal for any franchise. Sam?
Okay, so I've gone for Rassi. He's a really good number 3 or a 4, especially with all the really expensive players in those positions like Milan, who we know are going to go for a lot of money. I think he could be a really good bargain buy who would provide you with like a really good kind of, I guess, player at number 3. So yeah.
All right, I'll go. Well, yeah, I was thinking about Jai Richardson. He's good bowler, decent batsman, but I'll go with Mr. Fizzaraman. As I said, he had an amazing 2016. Just kind of got replaced by Rashid Khan. Never came back. I'm not too sure why. I think Ian mentioned, what was it? He'd struggled without a translator or something.
Yeah, he was saying he was just struggling like to deal with it all because he couldn't speak the same language as anyone, so he couldn't.
But-
like,
Yeah, but I've always
create a team
wanted him.
atmosphere.
I've always wanted him as an RCB fan. And I think he could be cheap and he'll be very good. So yeah, we move on to the
worst
worst buy.
buy.
Where's
buy.
Bayern?
Okay, I'm gonna go with Marnus Labuschagne. I'm going with him because he is a big name. They tend to go for a lot in IPL auctions. I really just don't rate him that highly as a T20 player. In the BBL, he was actually decent with the ball, but he wasn't great with the bat. So I think the team's going to grossly overspend for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My worst buy, Evan Lewis. Don't let his stats fool you. He's got good stats, but his last IPL for Mumbai back in 2019 was a shocker. It was rubbish. He is trash. I don't think he can face the spin in India. He can't face the slower pitches. He's not a quality batsman in the subcontinent. He likes the ball coming on, and you won't find that in India. I don't think he's going to do anything. Considering he's probably going to get a lot of money in the auction, I don't think he's going to do a lot.
He had a decent 2018, but yeah, his 2019 didn't really do anything.
All right, so mine is Harbhajan. As we've talked through the teams, a lot of teams are in need of that kind of Indian spinner. And there's not really many in the auction, so being the most experienced one there, I feel like teams could grossly overpay for him. And considering how old he is, I don't know how effective he will be. So I think, yeah, he'll be overpaid for.
Yeah, I've gone with Shivam Dubey because as we've spoken about, pretty much every team needs the Indian finisher. He's like Hardik Pandya, but like just terrible at the game.
What did you say last time? He's a poor man's Hardik Pandya.
Yeah, he's a homeless man's Hardik. If he's
Homeless
lucky,
man's
if he's
homeless
lucky.
A poor and
He's lucky,
Hardik.
Yeah, but someone will pay for him because he fills a valuable position. But he's terrible. Believe me, can't play.
I
Yeah.
do think because a lot of teams need the kind of same Indian kind of finisher or spinner. I feel we'll see loads of like many more unknown players, just random Indians like AJ Thai coming through the ranks and playing.
AJT, the con
Yeah.
artist, the con.
Oh my!
But yeah, I think
Yeah.
we'll see a lot more of them because there's just such a lack of Indian players in the auction.
Yeah, I know. They're like bizarre amount of no one good who's Indian.
Everyone got
But yeah,
retained, so
well, I mean, we expect it. But
Should we move to most expensive?
yeah,
most expensive.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm picking Alex Hales for this one. The reason for that is I just feel he is a really quality opener. I think he is a better opener than Jason Roy, but we won't get into that debate now. He's a big name as well, which they tend to do very well in IPL auctions. And in the Big Bash, which just took place, he averaged 39 at 162, which is just crazy. And openers for a few of the teams, DC, CSK, there's one more, potentially Rajasthan, I think. Not Rajasthan, one of the others.
Is it Sunrise? I think.
Might be some CSK, DC, someone else. Needs an opener. So yeah, I think he will be a massive buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's Dawud Malan. You only have to look at his T20 international stats: 54 at 150. I mean, that's unheard of. Those are like the best ever. He's had a phenomenal last 12, 18 months in T20 cricket. He had a a decent BBL, nothing outstanding, but I don't think that will stop franchises from putting in double digit bids on him. I see him going for at least 10 crore. I think he's going to be the most expensive buy.
So I think it might be Najib. I think you lot have said you think he's underrated, but I think he's played a lot of franchise cricket now that I think teams rate him a lot, and there's really a lack of spinners in the auction, so I think he'll get paid a lot. But I do see obviously those kind of batsmen getting paid a lot as well, so I won't be surprised if it is a Milan or a Hales. But I think in terms of bowlers, I think Najib might be one of the most expensive ones.
Yeah. All right.
Dylan?
Yeah, I've gone with Milan as well. He's ranked the best T20 batsman in the world. Big name. He may not be the traditional IPL batsman, personality-wise, but yeah, he's big name. Scores runs quickly and will sell shirts. So.
But is he a big enough name in India?
That doesn't matter. Well, yeah, I'd assume so. Like, yeah.
I'd imagine they've heard of him.
He's got better stats than Kohli.
But it's not about stats in India. We know this.
Yeah, but like someone's going to pay for him, isn't it?
Are we good?
Yeah, I think we're good. We're good.
Okay. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to check out the live stream 9:30 a.m. on Thursday. There will be some interesting hot takes there. Not from Dylan though, he's rubbish. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time for the review of the England-India second test match. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye.